Okay, so again, I appreciate you guys being flexible with the schedule and stuff. Just being a couple things I wanted to open up with. So we're in the middle of October, or August, not October yet, August. So that hence is why I'm so insane. I apologize about that, having to change stuff around. I know you guys can't be any less insane than I am too. But I also think that a couple reasons why, just starting this off, that some of you newer, and Nicole, I still think of you as newer. I mean, you've been less than, 6 months in the business. But what happens is, a couple things. People are crazy. Everybody's thinking about getting their kids back. There are people, though, that aren't worrying about putting their kids back to school. So the stuff that's crazy for me, that's crazy for Becky, with going back to school and getting the kids back and getting that, there are plenty of people in this world that don't have to deal with that. Like you, Nicole and Wendy. Jen, do you have kids in school? No, they're older, aren't they?
Well, she's going back to college soon.
Yeah, college. Okay, so you're in the same kind of boat. Yeah. So we've got these kind of different things, but there are plenty of people in the world that don't have that. So there are people there that would still be willing to have parties. So think of that first. But the other thing is that happens crazy that when we're at the end of a season going into a new season, that our minds tend to go that way too, like we're so excited about the blenders, as we should be, but it's, to make sure that we're still sort of focused on these couple of months. When you are a newer consultant, what I always say to you, remember, is what you do for your business today affects your business in 60 to 90 days. So let's just say in 90 days ago, if you were not a consultant, and you are right now finding that you don't have any business, that's because 90 days ago, you weren't working your business because you hadn't started yet. So it's just a matter of getting that cycle going. So Wendy just started this past week. So, we're going to assume that something's going to happen in a couple months that you might be like, I've got a little gap. And that could all be what that is. And you just sort of, it's all going to work itself out. And it's all about consistency. That's all what this is about. And that's where we're going to talk about numbers and stuff too. So let's do this. I'm going to share my screen, and I've got a PowerPoint for us because I love my PowerPoints. I think it's so much better, I think it is, to have a PowerPoint than you guys just looking at my talking head. So that's why we're doing that. Okay, everybody see it? Okay,
yeah.
Good. Okay, so again, we talked about this. It's the Founder Frenzy, Fast Track to Director. You guys are all still, Nicole, you're still, I think this is your month for Fast Track.
Yeah.
Right? So everybody's still in that. But let's say we pass that Fast Track, you still have all of those benefits to becoming a director. So that's what this training, what we're focusing on. And again, I think I shared with you guys that, I call this the Founder Frenzy at this point. A founder is, again, a person who is forging the new entity of a group, and we are working on forging the entity of executive director team. If you guys listened in on that last meeting that we had, again, we have lost our executive director. Our executive director lost her status at the end of July, and knowingly, she knew this was going to happen. But she's been an executive director for 21 years. And again, that whole executive and above group of directors has the home office right there. The home office feeds into them really good stuff so that they can send it out to their teams. Now that we don't have that executive, we're in this much more diluted group where the home office is feeding into us as well as everybody else that's orphaned without executive. And we don't want to be there. I promise you, we don't want to be there. So this is a really exciting place to be, but at this point, it's pretty imminent. We need to get there. We need to get to that executive place so that we can get some better stuff for all of us. I mean, when we're in a better place, when I'm getting better stuff to give you, then it just helps you guys to do that too. So this is what the goal of the 4-week program is, that you will promote to director. Again, why that's important, we talked about that. You'd be part of that. Again, and when I say that you're a founder of it, because that's how we become an executive team, is that we have a certain amount of directors in our team and the different levels. Every one of you are a first line for me. So you guys are very important in this because we always need more first line than anybody else as directors. So it's important there. I'll tell you though why it's important to you is because when you become a director, then you are just going to be making a whole lot more money. That's what, I mean, pretty much count on doubling. When you become a director, count on doubling what you're making right now. So I know that could be a big chunk of change there too. We talk about fast track. Again, that's within your first 90 days that we could become a director, that you would get those extra bonuses. This program is also going to help you build a personal business, a strong personal business, because that's going to be really important for you once you become a director. Hopefully you're going to build your confidence in your Pampered Chef business and your skills, and it's all about the numbers. Wendy and I were just talking about this too. Let's just think about this, because everybody except for Wendy has actually done some parties already too. That, think about that you guys have done some parties and maybe done some groups of parties that 1 or 2 is a dud. If you just have that 1 or 2 in that week that are duds, you're pretty much dead in the water. I mean, you can't really go. That's the reason why I really, it really encourage you to have 4 to 5 shows a week going. That's what we're going to be going at. Wendy's going at that as a brand new consultant. I know, Becky, you were going at that you want to have 4 to 5 shows going simultaneously every week. Because then, and Nicole, you know this, that if one of them sort of bombs out, it's okay, because you're going to have 1 or 2 of them that are really good. The other couple are going to qualify. And if you have that regularly, you're going to be in front of enough people to have that going. The whole thing too, when it comes to the virtual and the live, is that there's no way I can go out and do 5 cooking shows in a week. I mean, and again, I will start going back into doing cooking shows. I really do still love them, but I will get divorced if I'm out of the house 5 nights a week doing cooking shows. So my business has grown substantially just by doing the virtual, because I can do those at the same time and be able to do that. So that is our goal. That's what I'm really telling you, that 4 to 5 parties per week. And again, Nicole can tell you this. Becky has really gotten into this. I know, Jen, we're just sort of revamping, getting things going with you. But when you have that 4 to 5, it really isn't any harder, is it, Nicole, to do 5 parties at a time versus 1 or 2?
Facebook is working.
If you what?
If Facebook is working, it's glorious.
It is. You're right. But it really, if Facebook, let's say Facebook is working, that it really isn't any harder to do 5 than to do 1 or 2. It's actually sometimes easier. There seems to be a better groove when you've got more going, or, it just all sort of works that way. So it's all about the numbers. So here's one thing that we're going to start that I want to encourage you all to do if you're not doing already. I know Becky shows me her notebook all the time. The best practice habit of daily contacts. This is going to be part of the whole kind of thing of being consistent. We're going to talk about this all the time, making contacts. When you're making contacts, that equals business growth. And again, a definition of a contact is a two-way conversation between you and another person. It's not the message that you send 10 of them out and not one of them respond back. That doesn't count as a contact. It's got to be a two-way conversation. The purpose could be one of anything: booking a party, joining your team, purchasing products, just building a relationship. I'm doing a party right now for somebody that came off of another party that came off of me actually just reaching out to a past consultant that had been on our team, just checking in with her. How is she doing? What was going on with her life? And I did not go in for the booking. Within 2 days, she messaged me and goes, so-and-so has been looking for a consultant to do her show. And like that show happened then, just because I was reaching out and, being intentional about, re-upping that kind of conversation. And then providing good customer service, which we're going to talk about next, which is probably one of the biggest things that can make a difference with you. Now, we're going to talk about what two-way conversations. Does it mean just messaging people? No. It can mean seeing people out and about. It could be a coworker. It could be talking to your sister on the phone, whatever. It could, all those different kind of, being at a party, at a Labor Day picnic, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to be talking about the daily contacts, but really tracking them. That's going to be the big thing. Just like when you're a new consultant, I know Wendy, I've told her, get your notebook out. Everybody that you send a message to, write those people down. Write them down so we can see, if you message 30 people, how many no responses are you getting? How many no's? How many maybes? Because then we sort of know, if later on in in 2 months, you're like, I don't have any bookings. And we say, okay, how many bookings you need? I want 4 for this week. Okay, we know from past numbers on you that you have to message X amount to get X amount of response to get those 4 bookings. Like, you can work them out. It's all about the numbers. It's nothing magic about this. But I definitely would keep track of everybody you keep, throw out there. Here's one of the things that we're going to talk as you get. Now, Wendy, this is going to be something that you'll get into as you start getting your orders and stuff. Everybody else, you already have had customers. So you have people that you can be doing this with if you have not already. But this is what we call customer care. This is staying in contact with your customers. If they have ordered from you, they've given you their phone number, they've given you their email and their address. So you have not allowance, you have permission to contact them. They're your customer. And actually, you're going to find from the verbiage that I'm going to use that the first 2 contacts that you're going to make to them are not about booking. They're all about just making sure that they're okay. And those messages, I always think, feel great, just to make sure that they know that you're there for them. You want to make sure they're happy, that whole kind of thing. But we call it the 222 system. So, and I'll tell you exactly how I do this. But so 2 days it says call 2 days after the show. I usually try to, within 2 days of when they've put their order in, that I get that email that they've put their, that they've done their order. That's where I do, is I keep it there. But that's until I send this, and it's just a thank you. And I'll talk to you about that too. 2 weeks after the show's been submitted, by then they should have their products. So 2 weeks after, you're going to check back and see if they got their product out of the box, answer any product questions they have, that kind of thing. So again, you're not asking them for a booking yet. 2 months after the show, you're going to go back and you're going to find out if they're interested in booking, joining, and purchasing. And again, you can see, you're thinking, oh my gosh, well, I just started these parties. I'm still probably in the 2 days or the 2 weeks. You can imagine, though, if you're doing this regularly, you're going to be constantly somewhere in the cycle. So every week, you're going to have those first 2 days. Every week, you're going to have some of the 2 weeks. And every week, you're going to have some of the 2 months. So you're always going to have people in this side of this sort of program, in this cycle to be asking. So I'm going to give you the verbiage, but I will post these on our message so you can see them. So this is the first 2. If we're talking, all of you are virtual, for the most part. So what I would do is I text this because of, I think, a lot of stuff I do is through Messenger. Texting, I think, is probably the most personal I can get without calling them. So what I do is that bottom part there, when I see that message comes through, that an order was placed on a party, within 2 days, I go in and I text them and I say, hi, this is Anna with Pampered Chef. Thank you so much for your order on Susie's party. I truly appreciate it. Now that you have my phone number, please add me to your contacts as Pampered Chef Anna. Don't hesitate to contact me with questions about your products or for recipes. Thanks. And so I get a lot of, oh my gosh, thank you, or this was so fun, or I'm going to tell you, by me sending that, I've had people go, oh my gosh, you know what? I need 2 more of those waffle pans. Or I need, like, they're adding stuff to their order by me sending this to them and contacting. Because how many times have you thought about, like, I've seen a magazine, or I've left a store and been like, oh gosh, I really loved that, but I'm never going to get back up to that store. in the next week, I'm not gonna, like all these kind of things. But if somebody called me from the store and said, how was it? I'd be like, you know what, can you that shirt? Like, can you get it for me in this size or what? Like I would do that if I was thinking about it. So this is a great way to contact them right after. Is anybody doing this already? Yeah, pretty religious. Like I do, this is the one I probably do the most religiously. I'll tell you that I also, another story about this, about a month or two after I'd sent this to a customer, I did get a text back that something broke, not that she had ordered from that show, but a long time ago. So it actually had to be replaced. So she needed to order that. Plus she added, it ended up with like an $85 order out of the blue, because she had my my number that she could call me really quickly. So just to keep that in mind. So here's the 2 weeks after the party submitted. Hi, it's Anna. I'm checking in to make sure you received your products, that everything arrived in good condition. Have you had a chance to get them out of the box and start using them? I love asking them a question because now we're making them answer us back and give us some sort of a thing. One thing that I would do on a tracking kind of thing, if you use a calendar, I use the Google Calendar all the time. One of the things that I would do is when I submit a party, there's certain things that I do. When I submit the party, I go in and pick the winner for the grand prize. But one of the other things that I would do is go and say, okay, I submitted the party today. I'm going to go in 2 weeks and mark this day that I'm going to go and message all of Susie's guests, do like my 2-week follow-up. So that way it's in there. I know other consultants have done, and I do this a little bit depending. I mean, I know there's certain things I do on certain days. Maybe that you're on a bowling league on Wednesday night. So Wednesday night would not be the night that you're going to have like big stuff going on. So maybe Thursday night, you'll say, okay, Thursday night's going to be like a customer care night for me. So even though I close the party on a Monday, I'll go 2 weeks out to that Thursday, mark on my calendar, call Susie, customer care Susie's parties. Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's, yeah. I think you have to do that. I have to do that, or else I would forget to do it. I don't know about you guys, but I just would never do it. So that kind of scheduling, I think, would make but again, this is all you building the relationship, because that's what's going to be really important. And then the third 2 is, again, 2 months after the party. Hi, it's Anna. It's been a couple months since Susie's party. I wanted to check in and make sure you're still using and loving your products, and let them answer. So again, it's a question. Then to go into, I wanted to share with you what is new with Pampered Chef. We have a new catalog with lots of tools, and you could say something in here about a special, and so which would your friends like most? And maybe you could say, I'm doing cooking shows or virtual parties, or I have this, or whatever it is. End with a question, but go right in. This is when you'd want to start, because this is when you want to do it. You've already created a great relationship. They've been a customer. You've also offered them customer care 2 times. This would be the time to jump in. So Nicole, you could be doing this with some of your customers that you started out with. You know what I mean? Even if it's over 2 months, you could be doing that kind of stuff. Jen, even you, with when you started your first parties.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's customer care. And again, I will put those scripts right on our little group thing so you can have those. But again, even you, Wendy, who don't even have customers yet until we start these parties, I would get into the practice of doing that customer care, because it's going to make a big difference. Green dotting, you guys, I hope all know what green dotting is. And I do a little bit of this still. I'll go on. It used to be green dotting is about that you could go in the bottom right-hand corner when you're on Facebook and see who is active, and they would have a green dot next to them. If they had, the problem is now people, I know mine probably says I'm active 24/7 because it's on my phone or my computer's up or whatever. So what I do a lot of times is I'll go through and see who's showing up on my news feed, like who has posted. And I've done that recently where I've just sort of gone through and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've talked to that girl for a while. So I'll like message them and just sort of, chat around with them or whatever. But that's just, again, another thing is just sort of going out there and creating those relationships. Like I said, re-upping that if it's somebody that you haven't talked to for a while, you don't want to dive right in and go, hey, Susie, want to have a party? maybe just go in and say, hey, Susie, oh my gosh, I've been looking at all the pictures of that puppy that you've been posting about, so cute. Where did you get it? I would always talk about the dogs, but I think they just show me things with dogs because they know that I love that. So I think I'm tagged by Facebook with the dog stuff. So, so just to sort of think about that. And then, again, different specials and stuff are things that you could share with them. So again, we talk about this, that when we're talking about those two-way contacts and keeping track, you guys know this, the number of people that you reach out to, the number of messages you send is very different than the number of people that respond versus the number of people that actually say yes. So, it's just, again, just working those numbers and figuring out what your numbers are. Now, I'll tell you that there's even been some directors that recently, if you're going through in your messages and you tell me, Anna, I have sent 30 messages and not one person's responding, not even with a no, that I may ask you, hey, Jen, what are you saying? Tell me what you're actually messaging. Maybe we can tweak that, because sometimes it is what you're messaging. So that could be something that if you're worried about that we could talk about as well, what you're sending out. I know Wendy said, I think she messaged it somewhere, posted it, that, she was all worried about going out there and getting those first 4 bookings. But she went out there and sent that message, and really quick that first night got her first 4 bookings. So she obviously asked right. One of the other things is to think about, again, I've booked virtual parties by people that I've met out and about. Think about where you go every day or every week. I know I'm going to the orthodontist with my daughter tomorrow, so catalogs are going with me, and that conversation will be happening. We can really bring those kind of things up. I think it was Lisa that said that she had gone to her bank and happened to get in a conversation. She was depositing or doing something and said something about Pampered Chef. We're going to talk about what to say, but she ended up leaving catalogs and, has people, they're all worked up about putting orders in. I remember being very pregnant and walking into the OBGYN. And one of the things I've done before at the doctor's office is I'll take, especially if you have some of the catalogs that are going to retire now at the end of the year, end of this month, make sure to put your information on it. I go into a doctor's office and say, listen, do you mind if I leave some of my catalogs? I'm with the Pampered Chef. Can I leave some of my catalogs around here in the waiting room for people to, flip around in? And I remember doing that at the OBGYN and I think they were like, sure, that's fine. I said, do you want one? Yeah, that's fine. So they wanted one. By the time I left there, that lady was having, or at least one of them, I can't remember who it was, had a cooking show, booked a cooking show. The doctors were there. It's like a $2,000 party. I mean, this was early on, so I haven't been pregnant for a long time, but that was how that worked. But it's just being intentional when we're talking about and thinking about where you are and where you're going. These little bags, that's why I put that, because that was something we ordered in February. So if you've earned any of the bags, with Pampered Chef the last few months, or you could always go into PC Gear and get a cool t-shirt or something. Or I know that I've had friends who, one girl was a college student and she had her book bag, a regular book bag. She would always carry a catalog hanging out the top of her bag all the time, just so everybody would know that, she was, or at least see the Pampered Chef, that they would be able to ask. So there's a way to advertise yourself while you're out and about. So again, what would you say if you're out and about and somebody says something? And here's the thing, 100, probably 95% of people that you say Pampered Chef or they see Pampered Chef, they're going to say, I love Pampered Chef. That's what they always say. Oh my God, I love Pampered Chef. I love Pampered Chef. So the next thing I always say is ask them a question. What's your favorite product? When was the last time you hosted a party? When was the last time you've been to a party? When was the last time you saw a consultant or saw a catalog? One of the other questions too that I'll ask a lot of times is, do you have a consultant that you work with? They came out once with the numbers of a Pampered Chef customers. They would call them orphaned. because their consultant that they worked with either ditched them, they have no contact, they don't know how to find them, or that person's not a consultant anymore. So there are tons of customers that have been around. We've been around for almost 40 years. There's tons of people that have purchased Pampered Chef that love Pampered Chef, but they don't have a consultant. So that is something that I'll ask them a lot. Do you have a consultant already that you work with? Because now you want to be their consultant and you want to create that relationship with them. So when she says, oh, it's been a while, or I've never hosted a party, that's when you can jump in. It sounds like it's time for you to show your friends, what's new, and to make some new recipes for them. Or I love this too. What, you mean you've been paying full price all this time for all this? Why haven't you hosted a party? Then you talk about, we could do a virtual party. We could, make it really easy. The thing I always want to tell you right now, make sure that you ask for their information. I can tell you over and over again, I've been in situations where people have asked me about it. I've given them a catalog. They have said to me, oh my gosh, I've been looking for a consultant. I promise I am going to call you. I need to have a party. I have a new house. And guess how many people have called me back? This many. Big fat 0 in 18 years. So you've got to get their information. And that can really just look like, listen, a couple things that I've talked about before. I'll carry the little mini catalogs with me a lot of times. Consultants will a lot of times say, oh, I want to get business cards. Don't get business cards. Get the mini catalogs. You guys all know what I'm talking about, what those look like? Yeah? The mini catalogs, put your information on that. That's what you carry. That's going to be a lot less likely for them to throw away than a business card, right? Because it's got something in there. But a lot of times what I'll do is I'll give that to them and I'll say, listen, what I could do is add you to my email newsletter. If I could get your information, and then I can make sure. Or what's so cool is I've done like this. Are you on Facebook? Oh, good. Let's be friends on Facebook. And then you friend them right there. And now all of a sudden, then you've got them and you've got a good way to communicate with them as well. So you want to get some sort of contact of them so that when you give them a catalog, or when you say, listen, give me your information, I'll put a catalog in the mail to you, that you want to follow up with them. That's going to be the key. You're going to waste a lot of postage and a lot of catalogs just by sending them if you don't do the follow-up. And the follow-up is just, hey, did you get the catalog? Did you have a chance to look through it? What did you think about this? Or was there something in there that, that was really exciting, and, to sort of start that conversation with them. So that's going to be really important. Other places, we've got farmers markets around. I know people that have set up, again, we're talking about a lot of healthy eating and stuff. Maybe if there's a local gym or a Curves, something like that. We're getting into the school fairs, community festivals, all that kind of stuff is coming up. Craft fairs, and oh, you're getting cuddles, Jen. I love it. All of that, those are great kind of opportunities for you to be setting up a table and getting some new leads as well. That's going to be a good thing as well. Wendy, are you working on your parties and you're frustrated? I'm seeing your face. Oh! Okay, just don't stress. I will help you. There, close it up. After this, we'll have a phone call. Let's talk about at your parties. Once you have your parties, we want to focus on, you've worked hard to get these parties. This is where we want to focus on getting bookings from the party. So we always talk about, you want to look to get 2 bookings from every party no matter what. Now, if you have 5 bookings, you have 5 shows going, maybe 1 show you don't get any bookings. But I know Nicole could say this has happened. Becky, you probably too, that you though would have, maybe you'd get 3 off of another one and maybe 2 off of it. You know what I mean? It sort of averages itself out. That would really be what you want to make sure. So we really want to be focusing. You've worked really hard to get that 1 booking. Now you have all of the you have all of these what am I trying to say? All of these captive audience now in the party. Now we really want to be building the relationships with them to book from them, because that's really the key there, is that host now is bringing you all of these other people that you don't know. We want to book with them as well. So here's the 3 F's, why people book parties. So we just want to make sure that we're really advertising these 3 things in each of our parties. That's going to help. So the free, definitely, but it's very, you really want to make sure you know that it's not just the free. I'm the clearance queen. So you tell me I get something for free, and I know some of you ordered your kits because it was just a really good deal, but other people will book a party because they love the recipes and they really need the food inspiration. Other people just think it's so much fun and that you're just such a great host, they just want to have the same amount of fun. So you've got to be aware, though, that the reason why you might book a party is different why other people too. So we have all of that in there. So the free, of course, you want to advertise somehow in your party that about the savings, that they could get half price items, that the host is getting free stuff by having us all there. All these kind of different reasons. You're talking about the host price tool, you can sort of mention that, whatever the 60% off items and stuff like that. So you really want to make sure that you do talk about all the specials and the rewards of hosting. Talk about the host specials that are coming up. And a lot of times I do this one-on-one. If I show, I might make sure that we talk about the Rock Rocks if the Rock Rocks are in special next month. So if I'm talking about the Rock Rocks and somebody's like, oh my gosh, I really want one, I'm going to jump right in and say, listen, how about we get one for 60% off, or, whatever that is. So you can really, you want to make sure that you're aware of what the specials are, and sort of go from there too. The food, you'll notice in any of my templates that you guys have used that I try to share 2 recipes a day because people want to see them. They love the recipes. So make sure that you do that. Again, the engagement things with food, recipes, I like to ask people, what they would bring to a picnic, what recipe, what they love to grill, or what, and so you get them. A lot of them don't just say steak. They'll say, oh my gosh, I love putting potatoes. I just had this one, potatoes and onions and fresh rosemary, and people are getting inspiration from this. This is what gives this party value versus somebody else that's just schlepping around products, right? That's what we have as different with Pampered Chef. So they want ideas, they want recipes, they want to talk about cooking. Also, again, the fun, you building that relationship, those engagement posts. I'm so big on those for the first 2 days, and then throughout, because they love that. Do you notice that you'll go through the party, you don't get a whole lot of interaction, but then you put a guessing game up there and they're coming out of the woodwork. I mean, people that aren't even members of the party are guessing now. So I don't even know where they came from, but they see that post and they go in. So they want to have the fun. I love using the GIFs. I'm like really addicted to those. I think they're so fun and funny. So, they just make people laugh. And so I'll, put those a lot of times too. You will, and I know, Wendy, you just got, when we're going to be setting up your post, you're going to get a lot of my videos that you've seen in the parties that you've been. I really encourage you guys to make your own videos so that they get to see you, at least that first welcome video. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to have makeup on. You can be wherever, but just so that they can see you and see your personality, hear your voice, not just a messaging on there. I think I'm going to start, my goal is for this fall is to not use as many of the stock pictures that Pampered Chef is putting out, but to take more of my own pictures and making sort of a collage that I might be in, you know what I mean? Like just to sort of put a little bit more of my personality in. I'm wondering if that'll help us with Facebook jail as well. If the pictures themselves are really, because nobody's going to, Nicole, you're not going to use a picture of, a picture of my blender with this and then me, go, like, oh my gosh, the wash thing or whatever, you know what I mean? Like whatever that is, you're not going to use that. So it's not going to be a picture that's going to be overly used. But I'm not going to promote Wendy, who's just starting right now, to do that kind of stuff. You guys, everybody's going to do it on their own time, but I think we're going to, want to make sure that we've got a lot of personalization in there too. The big thing too that I'm going to talk to you guys about is that you want to make sure that you ask for the booking. Make sure that when you ask for a booking, even these messages they're doing, that it is a question. And I specifically say that because a lot of times I'll have new consultants that will say, or they're not even new consultants, I'm still dealing with some consultants that have been around for years that do this. Oh my gosh, you want that thing? You should totally have a party. That is not asking for a booking. That is a statement with a period at the end. Maybe an exclamation, but it's not a question mark. You have got to ask a question with a question mark, or it doesn't count, or you're not going to get. I mean, how do you go back? I mean, you're not asking for a response if you're giving them a statement. So think about that when you're asking, would you be interested in getting that Rock for 50% off? Or would you be interested in hosting next month so that you could get it for 60% off? The other thing that you're going to see, you guys know this, it's on the Wednesday of the host coaching and to do is the whole Rockstar guest message. And I really encourage you to do that. I love that message for asking bookings. I message that to everybody who is active in the party. So not everybody who said that they're going, but anybody that has commented or responded or guessed, those are the ones that I send that to. And if you look at that message, it's very much it's very complimentary to that person. It's saying, thank you so much for being here, for being engaged. It's helped the party to go great. You are exactly the kind of person that I love to work with and to be another host. So I don't know about you, and Nicole, maybe you can say, and Becky, that, but I find all the time that thank me for asking them. They might say thank you, but no thank you, but they're thanking me for asking them to have a party. And that feels really good instead of me feeling like I'm just going out. So that's something you're going to want to really make sure. You have that host coaching and to-do thing, don't you, Jen? That I'm talking about, that document for host coaching your parties?
I don't know.
Okay. Make sure, I just thought of that I wondered if you have that, I'll make sure you have that.
All right, because I don't, yeah.
Okay, because that will help a lot, that whole to-do kind of thing. But that is a really good thing. So today is the day that, in the system, that we would be doing that. And then I always share this whole thing, and I think this chocolate chip cookie story, it goes for recruiting, it goes for bookings, and it really talks about that, asking that question. So I'm going to pick, probably Jen is the one that I really know. Wendy's been in and out with my team for years. Nicole I actually saw, and Becky, I've met her before. So Jen, let's just say, I know if you came here to my house and you walked up to my house, you could tell from outside that I'd been baking all day. So it smelled like cookies, whatever. I greet you at the door and I'm eating a chocolate chip cookie. And I'm like, oh my God, Jen, I'm so glad you're here. But these cookies I made, they are amazing. I have so many of them. They're so good. I made them with the real butter, like I made them with the Ghirardelli chocolate, and like you can tell, like it's sort of crunchy, but like I've melted chocolate on my lip, like it's all, like they're warm still, they're amazing, you can smell them, so if I just tell you how awesome all of this is and then I stop talking, I know how your mother raised you. You are not going to ask me for one. We don't ask for food, right? If it's offered to us, you can say, I always tell my kids that if they're going up and down the street, don't you ever go into there. If you want lunch, you have it here. I don't want you going into their house going, I'm hungry. Like, you don't ask for food. But if somebody offers it to you, you can. So, but if I just went on and talked all about how great this cookie is, but I didn't offer it to you, you might be thinking, well, why is she not offering? Maybe she thinks I don't need one, or maybe she doesn't think I'm good enough to have one of her cookies, or maybe, you know what I mean? Like whatever you're thinking about. But if I say, Jen, do you want one? Then you have that choice to say, I'd love one, or no, I'm a diabetic, or no, I'm on a diet, or whatever it is that but I never even give you the chance unless I offer it to you. So I want you guys to think about that, when you're talking about, and, you go through your whole party telling people, you can tell people till they're blue in the face about how great the benefits are for hosting a party, how much free they can get, how much fun it is. But if you don't actually ask them, the answer is always going to be no, right? The answer is always no unless you offer it to them and you ask them. Now I want a freaking cookie. So who has a question? Anybody have a question so far? This is pretty much it. I'm going to give you some homework. But anything that we've gone over so far about bookings, any questions? Yes, Nicole.
I want to know how to come back from you described it one time as your momentum's going and going, and then you stop and you hit that wall.
Yeah.
I hit that wall because I had to not do it like I was doing it before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How do you come back from that?
So maybe we've talked about some different, I mean, here's a couple things you have in your favor. I'm going to tell you something that I've told when we have those kind of things that happen, I always suggest that I've said this before, it's usually harder to restart your business than to start it in the beginning. So when we have these kind of life things going, first of all, if there's some way that you can keep yourself at least at some momentum going, would be better. But you have all kinds of things in your favor, Nicole. First of all, that we have a brand new season starting September 1st with brand new products. So not only that, but it's also what season we're going into. We're going into our largest selling season. And that's a few reasons. Everybody's biggest selling season is because it's going into, going into the Christmas and holidays and stuff. But it's also going back to, in our business, people are going back into the kitchen. They're leaving their DAC and DAC and vacation mode cooking to back into the kitchen. And so they are looking for back to school recipes. They're looking, so, you really can focus on that kind of stuff when you're reaching out to people. Even now, say, listen, I am already starting back to school to start some back to school inspiration, with some recipes and stuff like that. So you have that in your favor. The other thing, though, that I would suggest is going back to those parties right from the beginning and to go into that last two of the customer care and going through, making sure everybody's good with their products and start, getting into those conversations with them. Because again, you're not dead in the water because you do have those back customers and you've got plenty of people.
I had 5 parties in a row do 0, which is it's got to be unheard of, probably totally unheard of. It's probably just me, but even my husband, like my mouth was just, I was dumbfounded by it.
Yeah. And what was it? Do you think? Why do you think that happened?
I think it's just everybody was either on vacation or paying for vacations or getting ready to save for back to school, or it was just, there was so many things that people kept, because I would have my hostess make sure that she follows up and messages the link to the party and everything. And I asked a couple of them, what's the input? And it's like, oh, typical, I don't have money, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And so here's the thing is that it's very easy to, I don't know how to say this. And this is something that I will coach you to do as someone that I know what your capability is. It's very easy for us to go into that. Like I was just talking about the whole, it's crazy right now, that everybody's crazy. That's, if I'm crazy, everybody else must be crazy. So nobody else is going to want to do a party. Or, we get into, I'm going to give you an example. In January, people regularly, you will think, and you will have hosts that will think this too, nobody has any money now. It's after the holidays. Everybody's spent all their money. Their parties are not going to be good. I'm not having a party now, and like this kind of thing. But I will promise you, January can be one of your largest sales months because people got Christmas money. They've been used to spending money, right up till Christmas on other people. Now they want to spend money on themselves. So that happens too. It's all really a mindset. And I'm not saying that you're getting, because this is what you're getting as those responses from those specific parties. But I would not be surprised as some of those hosts maybe talked to a couple of their friends, and a couple of their friends said, I just can't do it because of I'm saving up for this or I'm saving up for this, and that they stopped reaching out.
And they stopped. Yeah, because if I could get a dime for every person that I've messaged that hasn't even seen my message yet, so that's why I get when you say two-way contact.
Yeah.
I'd be a millionaire if I had all those.
Right.
That would just give me a fighting chance. But then I've heard that Messenger, if you're not friends with them, it hides it somewhere. It files
It
it
does.
so they can't
It-
see it right away.
Yeah, it actually goes up into their message requests. So sometimes what I've done is that if I've tried to friend request them and they haven't, but they're still active in the party, I sometimes will send them a message and then we'll say, like, reply to one of their comments saying, Susie, I just sent you a message, but since we're not friends yet, please check your message requests up in your inbox. And they found
I've
me
done
that
that
way.
in parties. I've done it in parties because I did 8 people, and 8 people in that party hadn't even seen it. So I said, please check your Facebook Messenger for messages from me.
Yes.
Trying to get them all. Ooh, what did you message me?
Right. Yeah, and again, here's what I'm going to tell you, is that in the summer anyway is just we're in a different, I don't want we're in a different, it's a different game in the summer. It just always is. You really have to think out of the box. You have to so especially when we do live parties, I was always really focusing on, let's do it out in your patio, grilled pizza, campground parties, stuff like that. It's really because I've got to get people to think differently than sitting inside their kitchen around the table. Nobody wants to do that in the middle of July. So it's definitely been with the virtual parties, making sure they know that it doesn't matter if you're at camp, you can still do a virtual party. You're going to be, it doesn't take, so it's again, people are just thinking differently, and it's just a matter of getting. So I think you're probably running into some of it. But I think you have so much in your favor. It's your first summer going through it. And I'm going to tell you, you guys starting this training right now are going to be that much ahead of the game going into the new year, going into the new season, starting your momentum now versus waiting till September 1st. Because if we have people that are waiting to schedule their September on September 1st, I guarantee they won't get going till October. That's just how it is. So you're good, Nicole.
Thank you.
People. You're welcome, honey. I know you can do it. Anybody else have questions, thoughts?
I think it would be really fun to do with the new product that's coming out in September, to do a kids party with the houses, because you can do the October party with the Halloween theme.
Oh, yes.
Another one, you just make the stuff, bring it, say, here, kids, have at it.
Put it
Have the
together.
parents all bring the candy, and then the kids can decorate, and then the parents
Moms
can have
shop.
fun.
Yeah,
Yep.
The moms can shop. Make frozen margaritas in the blender.
That's right.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. But at least it's a house that you could actually eat
Yes.
afterwards, instead of those disgusting ones that you
Exactly. Disgusting.
Yeah.
I agree. Good. All right, let's talk about our homework. So I am going to, again, in our little message, I will put those posts about doing the customer care and stuff like that. What I want to work on, not you, Wendy, because you've got your 4 parties that are getting set up now. But I would definitely, and I don't know where you guys are, but I would definitely, for all of us, let's work to book 5 new parties to start next Wednesday. That's going to be our goal, is to get 5 parties to set up next Wednesday. Okay. So you've got a full week to work on that. Regularly, this would have been Sunday night that you would have been doing that for Wednesday. But right now, that's going to be our goal, is to get 5 parties, not 5 new ones. If you already have 3 to start next Wednesday, good. Let's just get 2 more, but let's work on those 5. And again, start working on your 2-way conversations, tracking them so that we can really look at numbers and stuff as well. Sound good?
Yes.
Good, because we got to start this booking. If we get these bookings, next week we're going to talk about recruiting, because that's going to be, if you've got a good automatic booking kind of thing, and you keep these kind of hints and tips and stuff and keep remembering them, that's gonna keep it all growing as well. So, all right, girlies, thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you.
Have a great night. I'm going to stop the recording. Let me stop the recording. And then, Wendy, do you want to